This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Lech Deich Musar podcast. We continue with Pirkei Avos, Parak Aleph, Mishnah Gimel. So Mishnah Gimel says, Antigonus ish soichai kibel Shimon and Tzaddik. Antigonus received the Torah from Shimon and Tzaddik. Hu haya omer. He used to say, very famous words. There's a Shweki song about it, beautiful song about 15 years ago. Al tiu kavodem hamshamshem esarav almanas lekabel pras. Don't be like the Eved, like the servant that serves the Kadosh Baruch Hu, almanas, to get pras. So what does pras mean? It means a present. Some Rishonim say that pras is miloshen prusa, which you know from Hilchos Pesach, the prusas that we spread out around the house. So don't serve Hashem, almanas, I should get the prize, I should get the present. Rather, be like the Eved that just loves his master so much that he doesn't even want to get the prize, he doesn't want to get the present, he's happy, that he loves him so much that whatever my master says, whatever the Adin says, I'm in, I'm fully present, I want to do whatever you want. And that, says Antigonus, is how we should do our Avodas Hashem, how we should serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So this sounds great. The problem is that it's also very disheartening. We're in this world and we're constantly engaging in mitzvahs and doing more and talking about more Torah, more avodah, more chesed. But if we're going to engage and we're not really sure, or we're misopik, is there pras, is there reward? How does it all stem? Antigonus, he's a Tana and he's telling us, don't do it almanas that, so then maybe we can question, is there? Maybe it's just a Hail Mary. Maybe we're just hoping for the best, that there is pras at the end of the tunnel. But maybe there's not. So if you're wondering that, which Ayo did, it's a great question. And that's why, Baruch Hashem, we have the Hilliger Rambam, who offers a pshat, an understanding, in this Mishnah. Before we get to the Rambam, let's hear Shlomo Volba, who has a beautiful insight, the whole ishtalshalos, the whole flow of the Mishnayos over here. Yesterday we spoke out about the previous Mishnah established the whole purpose of creation is Torah, Avodah, Gemilas, Chasadim, and that's a lot. We're here to do a lot. There's a lot of, Hashem wants a lot from us. We're here to be kind, to be nice, to raise families. So above all of that, we should also be Mishamish, the Rav. We should be Mishamish Kadosh Baruch Hu with no intention of receiving pras. That would seem a little difficult. So how exactly do we do that? So to that he explains, the Pashup Pshat is that in order to properly perform mitzvahs, one must fully possess a healthy dose of love of Kadosh Baruch Hu. So after we said that there's the Torah, Avodah, Gemilas, Chasadim, and taking into consideration all of the engagements that we have to do during the day. We have to work, and we have to provide, and we have to sustain, and we have to work on ourselves, and we have to be kind to our neighbors and our friends, and be a nice person in shul, and community. All that stuff is great. But right after we said that, those three things, we're reminded, the next Mishnah. Love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You have to implement that first, and then everything else will fall into place. And why is that? Why do we need this strong dose of love? So he explains, says Rav Volba, that a servant who doesn't love his master will serve him as long as it is not difficult. But once the going gets tough, the servant will look for greater pastures. And in contrast, when a servant loves his master, there is no directive that is too difficult to fulfill. His biggest desire is to please his master, and there is no better way to demonstrate his love than by fulfilling his most difficult requests. So the harder it is, if we love the master, if we love the Adon, if we love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then even when the going gets tough, even when there's resistance, even when there are those hiccups and those setbacks, but when there's strongly implemented love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then fakir, the harder it is, the more we're going to want to achieve, the more we're going to want to do, because that's going to show our demonstration of our ceaseless love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's the flow. That's how we establish first base before doing all the avodah, Torah, Gemilas, Chasadim. Love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is preeminent. That's number one. But now getting back to our question, Which is, what do you mean? We're here in this world, there's so much to do, and there's so many people to please, and we just have to be a good person all around and sustain. And so how should we be doing all the avodas Hashem? We start questioning, so maybe there isn't. So what do we do over here? So for this, we're going to go back to the Rambam. The Rambam addresses this question. And he says as follows: Because of Antigonus's teaching, that he said, serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu without any ulterior motives. So what happened? He had two Talmidim, Tzadok and Baisus. When they heard that their Rebbe, Antigonus, made this statement, that one should serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu without any intention for reward, what happened? One went to the other and said, Hine harav pirish, bevir she'ein sham schar, v'le'einish v'in shum tikva klal. They misinterpreted it, and what they say? They said that there's neither reward, there's no punishment, and there's no hope at all for anything after death. We're here, we're schwitzing away, we're all day hearing more chizik and doing more and learning and doing more mitzvahs and davening and chesed, but there's nothing at the end of the tunnel. That's how they interpreted the words of the Rebbe Antigonus. And what happened? Since they didn't understand, there was an atrocious outcome. What happened? They continued speaking one another until they turned away from the Torah altogether. We know they're the famous Tzedukim and the Bathusians, but the Tzedaikim are the people that go against the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They take everywhere literal. They put the tefillin over here, Beinei Necha, and ultimately it's to go against the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what happened. That was the result of their misconstrued, erroneous understanding of the Rebbe Antigonus. Okay, so what is the pshat? So what are we supposed to do? So says the Rambam, it's not the pshat. Antigonus is not saying that you shouldn't serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the pras. It means that we should serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says the Rambam, with such a level of love, as if, that's the important word, as if there was no reward. So Vada, there is a reward. And Antigonus is saying, of course there's a reward, and there's tremendous Hayin Rav. At the end of the tunnel, Oitzis HaToiv is filled. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is endless with what he can provide and give us, and schar and payment. But Antigonus was telling us this is a big knetch. And this can alleviate a lot of confusion when we hear this. We've heard this many times, this Mishnah, and perhaps you're wondering this. But the answer is that our dose of love should be so strong, it should be brimming, spilling over to the top, that our approach to Yiddishkeit, our approach to Avodas Hashem, should not be for that pras. Although, of course, there is that pras, there is that reward, the Olam Haba, and sitting, Nenem Izev Shechina, of course it's all there. But Antigonus was telling us that we should work on our avodah being from such a place of ahava, of tshuka, of dveikus, that it should be as if we don't even care about the reward. But of course, there is a reward, and when we do mitzvahs, we can think that we're going to do this for the great reward, Nenem Izev Shechina, and all those mitzvahs, and the Torah, and the avodah, and the Gemiz Chasadim, and all the great things that we're doing as Yidden. Of course, we are going to get retribution. It's going to be the greatest glick, the greatest happiness, L'olam haba for Neitzach Netzachim. And that is the message for today. Do mitzvahs. The level of love should be so strong, should be so present, that you're not thinking about the pras, but of course, all the mitzvahs that you do, all the mitzvahs that you do engage in, all the mitzvahs nefesh, and fighting with the Yetzer Hara, Hashem doesn't discount, Hashem doesn't forget, Hashem doesn't overlook. Hashem sees all the pain, the lafum tzar agra, and do those mitzvahs, keep on doing them, make Hashem proud, and the schar will be tremendous.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.